The story opens on a world that looks ruined. There is decay, dust, and the feeling humanity is barely hanging on. This is 2035, and civilization is close to collapse. Life has become so brutal that people no longer care about each other. Food is gone now, clean water is rare, and bringing a child into the world is no longer allowed. In this dead landscape, we meet Kurt and his wife Eve. They have been wandering through the wasteland with one desperate goal: to reach a place where life might still be worth living. Their journey is long and every step feels heavier. They only stop in places other people abandon because here, empty buildings are safer than living ones. The journey is harder for one reason. Eve is pregnant. One night, Eve quietly asks Kurt what will happen to them. There is fear in her voice, for herself and the child she carries. Kurt tries to stay strong. He promises she and the baby will reach their destination, alive. That promise feels impossible, but it is the only thing keeping them moving. They keep searching for something to hunt because neither of them has eaten properly in days. The only thing they have found is insects. That is what food looks like now. Even worse, they are almost out of water, and Eve's condition makes walking much harder with every passing hour. The following night, luck shows mercy. Rain starts falling. After so many days without washing, the rain feels like a miracle. They clean themselves, drink as much as they can, and collect every drop. For one moment, they feel human again. Eventually, they reach a poor district near the border. Some parts of Europe still function, but only for the chosen few. Those zones are known as the Index. Everyone wants to get there because inside those places, survival is still possible. Outside them, people are not living anymore. They are waiting to die. This area lies outside the Index, and the people there are in terrible shape. The military sometimes throws them food, but the crowd has become so desperate that they behave less like a community and more like starving animals fighting over scraps. Kurt tries to get food too, but the crowd is too large, violent, and chaotic. He gets nothing. Realizing there is no point staying, he starts to lead Eve away. Then a soldier notices them and orders them to stop. Kurt and Eve freeze, expecting trouble, but the soldier says he does not want to hurt them. He only asks for one strange thing. He wants to place his hand on Eve's belly. At first, the request makes no sense, but then it becomes clear why he asked. It has been so long since people have seen a pregnant woman, or even the sign of a child, that to him, Eve almost looks like something from another age. He reaches out in disbelief, but Kurt blocks him and pulls Eve away. No one steps in. No one helps. Everyone is trapped in their own misery. The whole place feels like a vision of hell, and Kurt realizes that if they stay here, they are finished. Moving on, Kurt meets a man offering another path. The man tells them about an illegal tunnel. He says it can take them across the border and into the United States of Europe, a super nation protected by fences, surveillance, and security. But there is one problem. Poor outsiders are not welcome there. People like Kurt and Eve are forbidden from entering. For their unborn child, they are willing to risk everything. Kurt does not trust the man, and he has every reason not to. This world no longer runs on honesty. Money has lost its meaning. Society has fallen so far that people are back to trading goods for survival, like in the oldest times. Eve asks the obvious question: how can they know the tunnel is real? What if it is a trap? What if they go inside and never come back out? That question makes the man angry. He snaps at them and tells them to leave if they do not believe him. He mocks them, saying they can always go get a visa if they have that much confidence and that many options, but they do not have options. If they want a better life, they have no choice but to trust him. Kurt offers the man some meat in exchange for passage. The man looks at it and admits it is valuable, but not valuable enough. He says the tunnel is dangerous, and if Kurt and Eve are caught, the authorities could trace everything back to him and destroy his business. Eve is forced to give up her gold locket. That changes the man's attitude. Greed wins, and he allows them to enter the tunnels. The tunnels are narrow, dark, and suffocating. Just looking at them is enough to make a person panic. Kurt and Eve have to crawl forward inch by inch, dragging themselves through the dirt in silence. Inside, they come across a boy. He is in horrible condition, barely alive, close to death. Kurt and Eve hesitate, but survival has made them cruel in ways they never wanted. They are too focused on saving themselves, so they climb over him and keep moving. When they finally reach the end of the tunnel, their hope shatters. The path ahead is blocked. Kurt tries to force a way through, desperate to open the passage, but then the stones suddenly begin to fall. For a brief second, it seems like the route might open. Instead, disaster hits. They are caught. Soon, they are loaded onto a bus with other immigrants and taken to a high-security detention center. The place is packed with so many people that just being there feels enough to make someone sick. The air is heavy, the conditions are filthy, and through all of it, Kurt can only think about Eve. A few days later, the two of them are separated from the crowd and taken somewhere else. There, they are scanned. As Kurt and Eve approach the scanner, the doctor notices something and immediately orders the guards to separate the woman. Kurt tries to stop them, but it is useless. The guards force Eve away, and in that moment, he can do nothing except promise that he will find her again. Eve is taken to Dr. Susan. For her baby's sake, she has hidden a pair of scissors, ready to protect herself if she has to. But Susan tells her she is not there to hurt her. Then she performs an ultrasound and shows Eve the child inside her womb. The baby is healthy. Susan and the nurse are both stunned. They say they have not seen a pregnant woman in a long time. Eve then learns something shocking. People were given vaccines that made them unable to have children. That is why pregnancy has become almost unheard of. Eve asks the question anyone would ask. Why? But Susan leaves without answering. Kurt and Eve came from so far away that they had no idea how deeply this world had changed. Meanwhile, Kurt is examined by Dr. Andrew. During the medical checkup, Andrew realizes that Kurt is physically much healthier than most of the people outside. Kurt asks about the others they were being held with and wants to know why he has been separated from them. Andrew explains that Kurt is not like the rest. According to him, Kurt's body is still clean compared to those people. The others are full of weakness, disease, and damage caused by the outside world. Even if they were given proper food, clean water, and a stable environment, it would take them years to recover, and that is assuming they ever got the chance. That is when the system behind this world starts to become clear. Because the planet is collapsing, the government created a way to decide who is still useful enough to be brought inside the city. Only the people considered sustainable are allowed in. The goal is to find those who can still work, still contribute, still be of value. This is where the title comes in. The best status a person can reach is Index 0. Andrew tells Kurt that his current index is still in the negative range, but that is exactly why this program exists. People like Kurt are placed inside a special facility, monitored closely, and given the exact nutrition their bodies need until they are fit enough to pass the required standard. Only then can they enter the system and become economically useful. To control all of this, they place a bracelet on Kurt's wrist. That bracelet gives him access to food. It also tracks him at all times, and the message is made very clear from the start. Removing it is against the rules, but Kurt cannot focus on any of that. The only thing on his mind is Eve. He is desperate to see her again, and that desperation pushes him into a reckless escape attempt. He tries to break out, but the plan fails almost immediately, and he is caught. After that, he is taken to the chief, where Susan is also present. There, Kurt is finally told how this world really works. The chief explains that their society survives by strict rules, and those rules exist for one reason only: to protect the people they still consider worth saving. Then he drops the truth about Eve. He tells Kurt that, in their eyes, Eve is not sustainable. She is physically weak and her pregnancy happened naturally, which makes it worse. In this system, that is not seen as a miracle. It is seen as a threat. To them, a child means more mouths to feed, more water to waste, more resources to burn in a world that already has almost nothing left. That is why childbirth is treated like an enormous luxury, something only the rich and powerful can afford. The chief even admits that he spent half his fortune just to bring his own daughter into the world. Susan, on the other hand, never had that choice. Like everyone else, she was vaccinated long ago, and because of it, she can never become a mother. Then the chief gives Kurt a cruel offer. He says Kurt still has a chance. He can either go back out into that nightmare with Eve, or let go of the past and begin a new life inside this system. He leaves Kurt alone with that decision, but in truth, it is not really a choice. Back at the facility, Kurt is still looking for a way out. He tries cutting through the fence again, but another man, Alan, stops him and warns him to be careful. The guards are always watching. One wrong move, and Kurt will be thrown out before he gets close to Eve. Later, during lunch, Kurt and Alan talk more openly. Kurt realizes Alan is not loyal to this place. He has his own reason for surviving too. He wants to become healthy enough to stay useful, because only then can he continue helping his family. While they talk, Kurt quietly snaps a plastic spoon and hides one of the sharp pieces. That same night, he sees how unforgiving this place is. A sick man is taken to the infirmary. By the next day, his condition worsens, and instead of being saved, he is expelled and dumped back into the outer world. That one moment tells Kurt everything. In this society, once you stop being useful, you stop mattering. Children are no longer usually carried and born the natural way. Artificial wombs have been created instead, and only the wealthy can afford them. Even that costs a fortune. The whole system has turned life itself into a product only a few can buy. Soon after, Alan starts vomiting badly and is taken away to see a doctor. Nearby, Kurt catches a glimpse of the news. Outside, people are protesting this system. More voices are rising against it. But inside these walls, none of that changes anything. Alan later tells Kurt that fighting the system head-on is pointless for now. The only way to protect the people he cares about is to survive long enough to become sustainable. He advises Kurt to stop wasting energy on escape attempts and focus on reaching Index Zero. The next day, he goes into the bathroom, takes out the broken piece of plastic he hid earlier, and cuts his own hand on purpose. It works. He is sent to the infirmary, where Susan treats the wound. He threatens Susan and demands to see Eve. Susan tells him she cannot simply bring Eve to him, but Kurt keeps pushing until she finally reveals a possible way out. She says she can help Eve deliver the baby. Then, in the official reports, she will write that Eve suffered a miscarriage. If that happens, Eve may be reclassified as sustainable, and the system will have no reason to throw them both away. She wants to keep the baby. He hates the idea, but every other door is already closed. After thinking it through, he agrees, though only on one condition. He must be allowed to see Eve first. Later, a guard comes for him and takes him to Eve. She is being held with the same people the program has already rejected, the ones marked as unfit for this new world. The moment she sees Kurt, she is furious. She accuses him of becoming one of them, of choosing comfort over her. But Kurt quickly tells her that he never broke his promise. He says he has found a way out, and this time he means it. Then he secretly slips inside as well. The three of them hide in a room, but the pressure starts building fast. Kurt is threatening Susan, and the fear in her body is so intense that his wristband detects it. That silent signal is enough. Within moments, guards are on the way. Now there is no time left. Eve is strapped to a wheelchair, and Kurt desperately tries to free her. Susan says nothing. She does not betray them. In the chaos, Kurt manages to break Eve's wrist bone just to get her hand loose and out of the restraint. It is brutal, but it works. She hands Kurt her own band and shows them the correct route out. Using that band, Kurt and Eve are able to move through the secured areas without immediately raising alarms. Step by step, they make it all the way to the parking lot. It almost feels like they might escape. Kurt jumps in front of it, ready for the worst. But the man inside is Andrew. Using the scissors, Kurt forces him to help. Andrew warns them that there is no safe ending to what they are doing, but Eve pleads with him. She does not beg as a prisoner. She speaks to him as a human being who simply wants the right to live. Andrew takes them to his home. There, his wife brings Eve clean clothes, and for the first time in a long while, everything feels quiet. But the fear never leaves the room. Andrew knows that if anyone finds out what he has done, he and his family could lose everything and be thrown out as well. She tells them that they are human too, and that they only want a chance to live. Andrew's wife, overwhelmed by Eve's pregnancy, gently asks if she can touch her belly. Eve allows it. The moment she does, emotion washes over the room. It is such a simple human gesture. Yet in this world, it feels almost forbidden. Seeing that moment, Andrew finally agrees to let them stay for one night. But by morning, they have to leave. That night, Kurt wakes up and finds Eve on the bathroom floor. She is in terrible pain. They rush her to the hospital, but things go bad almost immediately. Her heart stops and the doctors have to operate. They try everything to save her, but this time there is no miracle left. Eve dies. Sometime later, he is seen sitting quietly with his newborn child in his arms, lost in grief and still haunted by Eve's memory. Then a woman approaches him. She is carrying a baby of her own, and several others are with her. Kurt tenses up at first, unsure whether they are a threat, but the woman calmly tells him they are there to help. She takes Kurt's baby into her arms and begins feeding the child with her own milk. The sight is so deeply human, so full of kindness in a world built on cruelty, that Kurt breaks down in tears. We see a new group of immigrants being transported on a bus like prisoners. Among them are a father and his young daughter. Suddenly, the bus is forced to stop because a boy is standing in the road. A guard orders him to move. Then gunfire erupts. In the middle of the chaos, armed people appear and assure the passengers that they are free now. That is when the reveal lands. The man leading them is Kurt, and the boy who stopped the bus is his son. At some point after losing Eve, Kurt did not simply survive. He changed. He built a rebellion, a group fighting back against the Index system and everything it stands for. Their mission is clear. In a broken world where survival has become a privilege, they are choosing to fight for the idea that every human being still deserves the right to live. In the final moment, Kurt's son and the little girl from the bus look at each other and smile, because in a world that tried to erase the future, that smile means hope is still alive.